Welcome to Read Spec with us. I'm Hemant.
And I'm Avash.
Today, let's look into an interesting operator called as the in operator. Hey Abbas, let's say we have an object X and we have a property foo on it. We have a property bar which is undefined. To make it more funny, we will add things to the dunder proto with another object, say meow, whose value is cat. Now,
Mhm.
if you were to check if a property exists on an object, what would you do?
Yeah. So normally I do like object.hasOwn property, maybe.
Mm-hmm. You do an has-on property and then say you do foo.
Right.
Um, foo already exists in the object, right? It's an own property of X, so you get the result as true.
Right.
But if you were to say meow, it
Mm-hmm.
would say false because it is not
Yeah.
X's own property, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
But at times you would also have to check whether a property is undefined or not. You would probably do something like this, right?
Yeah. 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 This feels like a shorter version. Like I can easily do this.
Yeah, but how do you know whether bar is really a property on it and it is defined or not? Now, if I were to say x dot tan is equal to undefined, right? It would still
Mm-hmm.
say false, but we don't have tan as an property on x.
Oh, so you mean like I cannot really identify if it is a property which has the value undefined versus it is not even a property, right? I cannot really distinguish that.
Yes, but here's an easy way. You could just say tan in x and it says
Mhm.
false, and you say bar in x, it says true. Now this is what we have for x to be, right? And it
Mhm.
what is there is in dunder proto the meow property. So you
Right.
say meow in x, you still get it as true,
Oh, nice. So
right?
this crosses all the like boxes for us. I can check for undefined properties. I can check in my prototype, all of that, right?
Yes. And the interesting thing is it can still work on arrays too. Say if you were to check one in say 1 to 3, it returns as true. And
Mhm.
then say if you were to check one in ABC, it also returns as true. The
Right.
important thing to notice here is it is looking for the keys here and not the values. So if you were to say again, you were to say an array of one, it works fine. But if you were to say 1 comma 2, it doesn't. And if you were to say one in an empty array, it is false because we don't have any element in it. So it works on only indices. So in this case, if you say a, it's false. But if you say 0, it is true because we have only one element with on the 0th index. And in
Mhm.
this case, we had no elements, and one in x was false. So you
Mhm.
get the point, right?
Yeah, nice. But I am interested in that example where your left hand side shows a array, like you did one in ABC, right? So yeah, I'm interested in like how that is working because that seems to work, right? I'm getting true. Although it like I thought that okay, the left hand side should only be a key, but it seems like I can somehow pass in an array and that kind of works too. So
Yeah,
we'll have
that
to
that
check.
that's
Yeah.
a good point you highlighted, Abbas. And I think it would do a two string on it. But why not we dive into the spec for more clarity? Hey Abbas, so we are in the spec. So from point number 1 to 4, it's about getting the left hand side and the right hand side values in our operation, right? So if you look at the point 5, it says if type of rval is not an object, then throw an exception. So it means if you were to do say one in undefined or one in null, it would throw an exception, right?
Right. Yes.
And what happens on point 6?
Right. So till now we have our lval and right rval, right? Which is be like left val is my property which I'm trying to check. So it will be like foo, that string, and my right val will be the object where I'm trying to check. And here two interesting thing happens. So first thing is my left val gets converted to a property key, right? So if I do like foo in some object, that foo gets passed into this method. And this is what two property key does, right? So any object can have two kinds of keys. It can have a string as a key, or it can have a symbol as a key. So string means just object.foo, but symbol is usually used in things like iterators, where you have symbol.iterator on an array prototype. So this is exactly what it is doing. It's first going to convert my key to a primitive value. So in case, let's say you pass the key as an array, right, then it will get converted to a primitive value first. And if that value is a symbol, right, then it will return the same thing. So it will be just a pass through. But if it is not a symbol, then it will try to convert that to a string. So if you remember in our case, in one case, we are putting the left hand side as an array of 1, but effectively it was getting converted to a string of 1.
Nice. The spec clarifies it. So if we were to do symbol dot iterator in an array, then it would be true, right?
Yeah, then it would work. Yeah.
So Abbas, we did see how the two property key works like, but what does has property do? So has property is more like a check on the internal methods, where it's not like has own property, but an extension to has own property, if you can think of it like that. So it checks if a property is there in an object, and also if it's there in the prototype chain. So when we did meow in our object X, it was true because meow was there in the dunder proto. But if we didn't has own property X dot has own property meow, it was false because it's not the own property of X. And that's what basically this check does. Hope things were clear with the spec. Uh, do subscribe for more such read spec episodes. See you next time.